Nice buns, soft, fluffy, and ultra-low net carbs. Discover Hero Bread, the delicious ultra-low net carb bread with incredible taste and texture. Hero Bread has 0 grams of sugar and is under 100 calories per serving. Plus, high in fiber with 5 to 10 grams of protein per serving. Available on Amazon.com, Walmart.com, and at hero.co. That's HERO.co. Delicious, ultra-low net carb Hero Bread buns and tortillas. Soft and fluffy, high in fiber, and with 0 grams of sugar, up to 10 grams of protein, coming in at under 100 calories. Order today at hero.co and use the code AH10 to get 10% off your first purchase. That's AH10 at hero.co. HERO.co. Order from hero.co now and get 10% off your first purchase with promo code AH10. That's 10% off with code AH10. HERO.co.
Can we talk about stoner movies for no apparent reason whatsoever?
None at all. Has nothing to do with the day, the month, or even the year.
No, I don't know. I don't know where I am or what day it is or anything. So doesn't matter.
I'm pretty dazed and confused.
I maybe this episode might devolve as we go for no apparent reason.
Zero. I do like to dress in a theme. We'll just say that. I love a good theme.
On our last episode, I was dressed in a polo and khakis, and
it's true.
That's golf attire, just to be clear.
I was wearing an engagement ring purchased for me via golf, so it makes sense.
Counts.
Makes sense.
It counts.
It makes sense.
As we go into this, by the way, I just said this a couple minutes ago before the red light was red. The lists that we're pulling up are all over
questionable.
the place.
They're questionable.
Yeah. There's some on here that can I just disqualify a few just immediately right out of the gate?
Off the top.
Start
Please
there.
do.
Okay. One of the ones that came up immediately was True Romance, which I'm like, True Romance is not a stoner movie. No. I feel like they're banking on like, oh, well, there's drugs. They were selling drugs. There's a drug dealer.
That's like saying Dallas Buyers Club is a stoner movie. It's not
exactly.
stoner or Basketball Diaries, not stoner movies.
Two things. And it's really funny because I was talking to I don't know which title to put first. Our social media maven / my wife.
I think
Dale.
Wife should go first. Call me crazy, but
which was priority?
Probably have been first.
Employee but we were talking about stuff, and I don't know if this is even on your list to talk about, but I said, I think there's a difference, and I grew up, and again, I think we've, over the course of this podcast, made it clear that we both grew up on HBO. Like we grew up on premium
Black Box
cable
HBO.
TV.
Yeah, Black Box. We had a legitimate Black Box HBO, which, if you got it at just the right time, had the best, Skinamax free porn.
Yeah.
Taxi Cab Confessions.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, I know. For
Learned
good or
everything
bad,
I know.
we grew up on that as well, which may explain
Absolutely.
some things.
Something?
But what I was going with that is, I think there's a difference between, even from like the lists I've seen, I'm going to put everything into 3 categories. This isn't a stoner film. It just happens to involve like drugs or something like that, that's to me, which I don't know if someone was high while writing this Rolling Stone list of the 10 best stoner movies.
It's probably their list of favorite movies to watch whilst high that have nothing to do with being high.
But even then, again, the aforementioned True Romance, I don't understand that. Doesn't make any sense to me. Shouldn't be on the list.
Pass.
Great movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. But for this category, no. Then on the other end of the spectrum are the ones that are abundantly clear what they are. A la all the Cheech and Chong movies. Like
I feel like they started it though. They started the stoner movie niche genre because first of all, let me just say, this is how I knew my father was this is how I should have known my father was and always will be a giant stoner. Divorced kid here, when we go to my dad's, I will never forget going to the movie rental place back when you had to rent VHSs on his weekend, and he got the Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke series. It was like, you girls are going to love this. These movies are hilarious. And we watched it and we're like not laughing, and he's laughing his fucking head off. And it's like, of course you think they're funny, Dad. You've been high since 74.
Yeah.
Where that's a perfect example of like, I didn't think they were funny. I was probably 8, but I didn't think they were funny.
So there was the abundantly clear of what's happening movies. And then there's that ambiguous middle, which is my preference, which are the Dude, Where's My Cars or Super Troopers, like things that where it's like, okay, maybe there's plot lines around this, but you're not explicitly being told what's happening. You know, Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. I think maybe you know why they're suddenly craving White Castle.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's not, it's an adventure based around the mental state of the main characters.
Okay. So like that, I mean, we've talked about this before, but one of my favorite movies of all time, Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
I love that movie. That is, to me, a stoner movie. And
okay,
maybe
it's all implied?
Well, they smoke weed in the movie, for sure. But there's the one character that's all he does is roll joints for everybody and smoke weed. And he has this hilarious part where he talks about how George Washington wanted to smoke weed all day. And Martha used to have some fresh joints rolled for him every time he came home. And like, it's clearly a movie based around the 70s and smoking weed.
Yeah.
And you know who's high in the movie. But then you have other ones like we just talked about last time I recorded, The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Which is, would you consider that a stoner movie?
It always comes up, but that's the thing, right? Like it's implied. It's implied that he is just a stoner and he's high right now while we're watching him the entire time.
He says man like 174 times in the movie, which is incredible.
Man. And I love how people have gravitated towards that movie. But then, okay, the other implied are like I said, Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. Dude, Where's My Car? Even Jay and Silent Bob, kind of ish.
Oh, I love that movie so much.
Yeah. Like we know that they're weed dealers standing outside the store, but aside that, it's implied. The other one too is it is explicit, but like Half Baked is sort of, it rides that line because.
Yeah. You definitely, it's weed adjacent. I mean, like that's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Dave Chappelle weed smoking movie essentially, but there's so much more about it. I mean, isn't the whole thing that the one person gets arrested for killing a police horse by feeding it weed or something? It's like a ridiculous.
No, well, he just feeds it. He was diabetic. He went out to go get snacks. Yeah. He goes out to go get snacks because they all have the munchies, and then he feeds the horse, and he's a diabetic. Butterscotch, butter.
Can I tell you? I think butternuts. Just like this time period, so like the late, I would say mid 90s, well, like just 90s and early 2000s, I think had the best stoner movies. The best. Yeah. I mean, you had Jim Breuer, who just talk about a stoner comedian. Jim Breuer is top tier 90s, early 2000s stoner comedian. Yeah. Where are they now, Jim Breuer?
Yeah. Oh, let's not play Where Are We Now with Jim Breuer. That's
poor guy.
Dark road.
It's a very dark road.
Dude, Where's My Car came out in 2000. One of my favorites, by the way, is Grandma's Boy. And again, another one that's adjacent, right? It's not.
That's very true.
I think there's like one or two scenes where they're explicitly getting high, but aside from that, it's just either like in the background or just sort of like whatever. Same thing with Super Troopers, but it's like, I guess, does the humor, I don't know. I'm trying to like.
For me, the comedy is stoner humor. Like it's stoner humor. It's just the kind of comedy that you watch when you're stoned, and it's already hilarious. And then you're stoned and it's 10 times hilarious. But that kind of like what you were saying before, for me, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Read the book, loved the book, watched the movie. That to me isn't a stoner movie. It's definitely a trippy movie. Trippy as hell. But it's not a stoner movie.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. I think That's just that's first off. I mean, I think stoner movies have to be comedies. They have to be. But is Dazed and Confused a comedy? Considered a comedy?
Yeah, it's considered a comedy.
Okay, that's fair. Bill and Ted, that's another one where it's sort of implied.
And also just Ted. That's one of the ones that came up on every list I looked up, just the movie Ted. And I think there's a part where he and the bear smoke weed, but that's not the whole genesis of the movie. I don't know. I think that stoner movies probably has something different for every stoner, I guess. I like all sides of it, but I would never call True Romance. It's never going to be a stoner movie. True Romance. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. That's
never.
Yeah.
And Reefer Madness keeps coming up on these.
I know.
And I know. That's not a stoner movie.
No. And that's the thing too, is we're not even fully there yet to sit back and laugh at oh, look at this. Look at what they tried to propaganda they put out in the
yeah, we're not there
30s.
yet. The movie poster is incredible. It says, men cry for it. No, women cry for it. Men die for it. Reefer Madness.
Yeah. Don't want to get high, do you? Ruin your life.
Good Lord. Good. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, man. I'm looking at the whole wall of them now. I guess that's the thing, right? Is it a movie about that versus a movie that is sort of winking and then it's just enjoyable? The whole plot is different. Even Billy Madison comes up sometimes on these lists.
Yeah. Again,
or
a movie
super bad.
Great to watch when you're high, not a movie about being high. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Or Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I always see that one on lists.
I mean, Spicoli's one character. He's one character. He's not even the main
a coming
character.
of age movie, which I guess Dazed and Confused also is. One of my favorite, and I know I mentioned this way back when we were talking about Pauly Shore, who I feel like you can't talk about stoner movies without talking about Pauly Shore. Biodome.
None of his movies come up.
Not a single one.
Right? That's weird.
To me, Biodome is also a great stoner movie, but was the movie I loved watching in high school when we would smoke pot and right after high school. Yeah. That was our favorite movie.
And there was In the Army Now, which were the two
so good. I like Son-in-Law.
Buddy. Oh, I hated Son-in-Law. That was the one where
I
it was just
I so much. I loved it.
But
also my boy B. Fraze. Come on, we've got Airheads.
Oh,
to me, stoner movie.
Yeah. Is it? Well,
again, this could just fall into that category. Something you like to watch when you're stoned.
Yeah, I did watch the last time I explicitly watched something for both reasons was the Eric Andre movie Bad Trip.
Oh, I've never seen that.
So, first off, you have to be in a specific headspace to see it. Let's just put it that way. But it's another movie, and I feel like I explained this once before, but it's kind of like, you know how Bad Grandpa was a mix of a linear story mixed with hidden camera gags of in the Jackass.
Yeah.
The Jackass crew. That's the same thing with Bad Trip. It's just Eric Andre mixing in scripted elements into hidden camera gags where he just does stupid, crazy stuff with other people. It's actually really funny. As far as favorite, and I think this is how we probably got here, maybe, but I was going to say, giving it to the Happy Madison crew, I really like Grandma's Boy. And as a runner-up...
you talked about that.
Yeah,
That's
and
fair.
As a runner-up, I'll give it to Dude, Where's My Car?
Okay. All right.
There's a throwaway line at the end of that movie that always gets me because, again, the movie's based in LA, right? Or a suburb of LA, or it's West Coast based. And there's a random throwaway line where they're trying to capture the bad aliens, whatever the hell the plot was. It's been a while, I forgot. And they hold up this thing. They go, "We banish you to Hoboken, New Jersey," and they try to capture them. And it's just a throwaway line. The fact that they're just like shitting on Hoboken, New Jersey.
Hoboken, New Jersey, which is easy to do.
But
it's a very New York thing to do.
But even as a New Yorker, like your initial thought is you don't even think about Hoboken, New Jersey, much less shit on it. That's what makes it even funnier to me.
You know what I just realized? None of the Farley Spade movies are on any of these lists either. How is Tommy Boy not on there? Or like Black Sheep? I mean, none of them are on there?
What's funny is I would say Black Sheep is more of a stoner movie than
Tommy Boy's a little more feel good.
Yeah.
But still, that's not on there. Because I feel like you have groups of people, especially coming out of SNL and then at that time Mad TV, where they would have their own little, then they'd go out and do the comedy group together, you know, like the Happy Madison group or Spade and Farley, or they had like the, you know, Chris Kattan had his little group that they did those movies
Corky Romano?
Yeah. Ben Stiller had his group.
Yeah.
And I feel like none of those groups are on here.
Yeah.
On these lists, which is, again, I don't know, maybe it's a generational thing. Pineapple Express obviously comes up
a lot. I've heard a lot of people call that the best of
it's
stoner
good,
movies.
but to me, that's not an adventure I'd want to go on Stoned. That is, oh my God, I just want to relax. That is high energy. No, thank you. Pineapple Express is stressful.
I know.
It's like high energy. I feel like I'm watching a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too much.
Also, what's the other one that I saw everywhere? Oh, This Is the End, which again, I watched it. I thought it was funny, but I wouldn't put it up there.
No.
To the top.
No.
Did you watch any TV shows, I should say? What are stoner TV shows that are not on these lists?
Oh, man.
That 70s show. I loved that 70s show.
Did you really?
And I did. I'm all about that corny, sitcom-y, multicam. I was into it. But I loved Reba. I mean, come on. These other shows keep on giving.
I don't know what deep end we just went off of, but I will say in the past week, I started watching. This is an entire
Reba.
tangent, but
please.
No. Earlier,
damn it.
wait. I think also. I don't know. I'm just going to take this left turn down this road because I don't know where the hell I'm going, but I want to talk about it.
I was just about to sing the Reba theme song, so you got to get there before I break out into song. It's dying to come out.
Sorry. Okay.
Go.
Oof. All right. I've been watching old episodes of Family Matters with my son. Can I just tell? First off, and it doesn't hit him as hard as it hits me. I was like, I got to tell you about Stefan
but those
Urkel.
Stories sometimes are really adult. What happens to them?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we were pushing the edge.
A abusive relationship, and then the one son. Okay, sorry, we'll focus on the funny stuff. Go back to Urkel.
No, what were you gonna say? What happens to the son?
You don't remember when the son gets pulled over and gets racially profiled? It was the first time I ever saw something like that on TV. It changed like everything for me, and I was like, "This is such an intense show."
Carl Winslow. No, you understand. First off, all right, I introduced my son to Urkel, which
and Stefan, because Stefan is fine as hell.
Well, that was the whole plot line. Is that first off, I'll just say this out loud, and I actually thought I was like, we should do an episode on Family Matters because I want to get the girl who played Laura Winslow.
I got so mad. We are only recording for 20 minutes so far. I just want to point that out.
I thought we were 40 minutes in.
We are fucked.
No. What have I done? Okay. Hang on. Let me get back on track here.
Laura Winslow.
I want to talk about Laura Winslow. Laura Winslow is a great physical comedian. I was watching that show and she's a really good comedian.
Now I have to. Really?
Yeah. You don't understand.
That's the oldest
don't watch
sister?
it now.
Oh.
The one, Laura, the one that Urkel is obsessed with.
Oh, yeah.
What
She's
episode
an
is
idiot
this? What are we talking about?
Stefan.
But first off, also, let me just point out, the show was set up to be like a serious-ish, like family sitcom again around Carl Winslow and his family. And then they just threw in this random neighbor like a season. And they're just like, oh, he's Urkel. He's nerdy. And then the whole world is like, oh, we love Urkel. And then the whole show
becomes
turned
Urkel.
into the Urkel show.
I feel like that happened with everything. What was that Tim Allen show with the neighbor whose face you never saw for like 62 years?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Winslow.
No.
Winslow, yeah.
That was the neighbor's... No.
What? The neighbor on Home Improvement?
Yes. It is. Wilson.
It was Wilson, thank you. But I just want to point out... I just explain something, because this is Reginald VelJohnson, the guy who played Carl Winslow. They built a show called Family Matters. It was supposed to be about a black family from the Chicago suburbs, and the father's a cop. And then at last minute, they're like, this needs a little something else to the mix. And they threw in Urkel. Someone created Urkel. And if you look at the poster for the show, it's I'm just going to send this to you, but I have to explain it for everybody else. If you just go to IMDb and look at the poster, it says Family Matters. And the whole thing is Urkel. It's just Urkel with his suspenders and his shirt doing his little point up.
He's like a thumbprint.
And you can't even make out their faces. Just the whole cast signed up. Hey, everyone, we're going to do this really nice family sitcom. Really so like the working family from the Chicago suburbs. The father's a cop. The mom is working late. Like she works at a department store or something. I forget what her role is. And the kids, and just it's all about family, because family matters. And then they barely start the show, and he walks in and goes, "Did I do that?" And
it's
all of America,
it's game over.
Fell in love. It's the Urkel show, everybody. You could have killed the whole family, and Urkel could have been doing his dance.
So sad. I don't know. Yeah. Carl was good comedy.
No, he was great. I get the whole point to that rant. Yes, but the whole point to that, because it became like a buddy thing where it was either it was Carl and Steve, and then Steve lusting after Laura. But the whole point to that is that family, the actors from that show, took it as a champ, because by the last season, now we're not going to have anyone on as a guest, because I'll just explain what happened. But basically, Jaleel White, Urkel, became a nightmare and was just like dictating storylines and like being like, no, we should do Stefan for a few more episodes. You don't understand. I think in the last season, Stefan was on more than Steve Urkel, because Jaleel White wielded so much power.
What a turd. That ruins the 90s. Why would you tell this story? Also, how the fuck did we get here?
I don't know. But I've been obsessed for the past week with Family Matters, because I watched an episode.
He's commandeering us. He wants us to be the Family Matters episode.
This is a new episode.
New episode.
There's
0.25.
I had to show my son, who couldn't care. Back in the 90s, and for anyone my age or around our age, like, they'll remember this moment in time when everyone was like talking about Stefan. Oh, it was the biggest thing. It was the season arc. They randomly introduced Stefan into like mid-season 5, where Laura, like, for a rant. And that's the thing about these 90s sitcoms, by the way. People would have jobs or a new career or something for like an episode.
Overnight, yeah.
Just one episode.
Yeah.
So the episode opens, and suddenly Steve works at like a Burger King knockoff place. For reasons, because something's going to happen, and we have to have it happen there. And so some guy, winks at Laura, and then Steve's like, "Don't mess with my girl." And then he gets tripped by the guy, and he tosses strawberry milkshakes all over Laura. And then the scene that goes, because he has to convey like she's funny, she's dripping in milkshake and everything. I don't know. The whole point is so just like way better acting on that show than Full House. Full House had nothing. Full House had the Olsen twins and the cute dog. We are going to get
canceled. We need to go back to Stoner Movies, because you are going to get us canceled. Say the Full Housers out there. Candace Burke herself is going to ride her Christian horse through town to take us down for this.
I'm just trying to say that the Family Matters team had acting chops. You had Carl Winslow. That man played such a great, like, what was Abbott and Costello kind of thing with Steve. It was so great. Even the heartfelt moments with even racial profiling episodes, and like they acted the shit out of that show.
They really did. It was incredible.
And then
Welcome to the Family Matters episode, folks. Stoner movie episode ended around 21 minutes in.
Wait, they put their heart and soul in that show and acted out those like really emotional scenes, like the episode you mentioned about being racially profiled. And then they put Urkel on the cover of the... No one even remembers their names.
How the fuck this became the Carl Winslow Advocate podcast?
I came with an agenda. I wanted to...
Yes. Oh my fucking God.
I knew you'd never let me do a whole episode on Family Matters. So I just snuck it in.
Should I be doing fun facts right now for Family Matters?
Fun facts. Go to break, do fun facts.
What about Friday? Friday's a stoner movie.
It is.
Ice Cube and Chris Tucker.
Yeah, but it teeters on that line of being not like, oh no, there's serious stuff happening. Someone might die or things.
I think it's a stoner movie. They have Soul Plane on the list.
I know, Soul Plane's on the list.
Come on. I mean, the only reason I watched that movie is because I was high. And then How High with Method Man. I think that was the first one where I was like, oh, these motherfuckers smoke a shit ton of weed. With Method Man and Redman, they can do it all.
Here's one of those intellectual questions.
This may not be the time for that, but...
Yeah, it's never the time, let's be honest. Soul Plane, it's a stoner movie because why? And versus, wait.
You say like Snakes on the Plane or something.
No, I was just gonna say Airplane. Like that movie.
Yeah, but it's got Snoop Dogg. I mean, like Snoop Dogg and Method Man. Is that the... And they smoke weed all day. There's so much smoke up in that plane. It's very cloudy in the purple plane because of all this weed smoke.
Clouds are inside the plane.
Inside. Easy Rider's on this list, which I don't even know that movie.
I know.
Me too, but
it doesn't deserve to be on there.
No.
That's weird.
Shame on you, Rotten Tomatoes. Which, for the record, I hardly ever agree with Rotten Tomatoes, ever, about anything.
Yeah. Did you know I was in a stoner movie?
Which one?
It was produced, I don't know. It had with High Times Magazine.
Oh.
Here's a really funny, very New York story.
I'm ready.
To tell. If it's not clear, I wasn't a good school student. So, come my summers in high school, they also still wanted me to come to school to, get some credits for things. Keep going. So, I went to summer school one year. And it was great. I picked up and I caught up on a few math classes and English classes that I needed credits for, that I was behind in. And it was great. Met some cool people, did my work, got my grades, all good. I go 1 year after that, and the first day the teacher says, all right, so homework. And I'm like, excuse me, homework? Because like when you're a summer school teacher, you just like take it easy, whatever. Like no one wants to be here, teachers, kids. But, they have a job to do and make sure I can pass a test. So they're going to, work with me to a balance. This teacher was like, no, I'm going to do exactly what I would do normal school. So like full throttle.
But she's fun at parties.
Yeah. So I was just like, all right, cool. I didn't know that's what I signed up for. So I'm good. And then I just decided to not go there anymore also.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So instead, I would go into the city. I'd go downtown. I'd get a bagel. Nothing much has changed. This is still how I like what I do. And
this is like the most New York school skipping story ever. First things first, bagel with a schmear. Yeah. Keep going.
So I would hang out by like the World Trade Center, right? Just wander around Battery City Park, just that area, like downtown, financial district, whatever. And then one day at my normal spot where I like to sit on a bench and watch the ferries go back and forth to the Statue of Liberty, they're filming a movie. They're in my way. That's my seat. That's where I sit. And so then I started hanging around, and then I got to talk to the people. And then on the first day, they're like, hey, we need some extras. You want to like, we won't pay you, but we'll just give you pizza. And I was like,
nice.
Yeah, cool. Because now I got lunch. It made sense. And so I go, they pulled me into the movie, and it was this movie produced by High Times Magazine, which I'm trying to figure out the name of the movie right now. Potluck. That's what it was called.
Potluck.
High Times Potluck. And it's a really crappy movie. Well, before I continue, hang on a second. Let me see what the credits on here are so I don't offend anybody. And it was this movie about like a mob people who decide to start like dealing drugs.
Oh.
Or like, yeah. Anyway, long story short, I'm in a bunch of those scenes. And there's like a scene in like a park where they put on a concert
how
at
beautiful.
the end.
The worlds are melding together.
Tommy Chung is there, and I was in the crowd, yeah.
Of course he was.
And so, yeah. And I kept going until literally they weren't filming anymore, and they,
And the pizza ran out?
Yeah, and I would go home and get pizza. I'm Italian, just to be... there's always
dream.
pizza at home. Yeah.
Well, I've never been in a stoned movie. I've watched plenty of movies stoned. That's about it. I think I did have a camcorder in high school, so I'm probably made a few as well.
Yeah, remember? I always wonder what happened to the LF footage. Like,
I have
it.
Someone...
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh, my best friend and I were just texting the other day about how she's been my friend since early middle school. And we used to make these super embarrassing movies when I got a camcorder. And we were just talking about the other day, we need to watch them first to see if we want these to be put to digital. And then maybe we'll put them on digital because they're still on the little 8mm doohickeys.
Yeah. Some old guy is going to be having a box of those.
No. Oh, God, no. God, no. Okay, so I don't know if I said my favorite stoner movie, but mine is definitely... We know your favorite stoner movie is Family Matters. We know that.
Yes, that's my favorite stoner movie.
Mine is probably Biodome or Dazed and Confused, I would say.
Yeah, which is funny because, I mean, Dazed and Confused usually tops a bunch of lists.
Yeah.
But Biodome, I'm with you on.
Making a filter. Making a filter.
Free the mahi-mahi.
Whenever I worked at Outback Steakhouse, folks, and we used to have mahi-mahi on the menu, and it was so good that I lived in a time where you could make that joke and the people around you were old enough to know what the hell you were saying and not look like a psycho. But every time someone would be like, "I'll have the mahi-mahi," and I would always say, "Free the mahi-mahi."
Same with me. Wow.
Yeah. Should have known then. Kylie Minogue, by the way, said that was the worst move of her entire professional career and that she only has one regret in her entire life, and it was being in that movie.
Wait, who was it?
Kylie Minogue.
She regretted it?
She said it's the worst thing she's ever done in her entire career.
I am going to have a talk with... Fun fact. My first job in radio, I was late for work at the radio station I worked at, and I ran up the front stairs and fell like on my elbows like a little child, and Kylie Minogue was right there. What's worse is like cool. I've had jobs.
That's awful. That's like trauma with a therapist embarrassment.
I didn't really know. I was like, oh wait, you're the one from Biodome.
She's probably like, fuck you. The worst thing I've ever done. Kylie
can't get you out of my head. Just to be clear, she was there to promote the song "Can't Get You." Wait, I think
what
that
a fucking jam that song was.
Okay. She's there to wait. I'm checking the year on this. Yeah, okay, I am correct here. She's there to promote her song, and I look up, and I'm just like, oh, it's the lady from Biodome.
And now I just told you that you literally fucking ruined her life by saying that. When you fell, she was like, these are the motherfuckers that watch that movie. Worst thing I've ever done. Worst thing I've ever done.
She's the reason she gave that. I'm the reason she gave that answer in the interview.
Like, no, I've seen that kind. I'm fucking done.
I love, I don't know. I can randomly quote that movie, but I'm pretty sure it's all from, oh, there was a point I looked at the clock and I was like, it's only been 10 minutes. I'm so sorry.
when you were literally attributing every great moment that's ever happened in your life to fucking Laura Winslow before, I looked and I was like, this has got to be towards the end. And we were 26 minutes into recording.
We said all we had to say about stoner movies.
That can't be possible. I had such a list of fun facts.
This is the most efficient episode of this show.
Oh my fucking God.
We're not going to have a commercial break in the middle.
What did I have? I had... Okay. Oh. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have no idea. Back to Dazed and Confused. Thought? Mother of God. Back to Dazed and Confused. It did so bad in the movie theaters. Like,
really?
Yeah. And did you know it's one of Quentin Tarantino's all-time favorite movies?
Why?
It's a beautiful fucking movie. That's why. It's incredible. It's not like I said Coyote Ugly. It's Dazed and Confused. It's a classic. So is Coyote Ugly.
Richard, my tongue is numb.
Richard Linklater.
Richard Linklater.
Linklater. Wasn't Dazed and Confused Matthew McConaughey's like big role?
Yeah, that was where he did the all right thing.
Yeah, I listened to an interview where he was like, I just imagine like, what would I say if I was like super high and drunk and about to pick up on... I can't do it because you're going to make me pee my pants.
In 1993, he goes, all right. That man has been nominated for Oscars. He did Interstellar. Just completely. And people still are like, oh, you're the all right guy.
That's the whole theme of this episode, is you trying to get down to the base of people's hatred as actors.
Nice buns, soft, fluffy, and ultra low net carbs. Discover Hero Bread, the delicious ultra low net carb bread with incredible taste and texture. Hero Bread has 0 grams of sugar and is under 100 calories per serving. Plus, high in fiber with 5 to 10 grams of protein per serving. Order from hero.co now and get 10% off your first purchase with promo code AH10. That's 10% off with code AH10. HERO.co.